I'm starting to think that my college degrees have been a waste.
Well, I think four-year college degrees are going extinct because people realize you don't need one now to be successful.
A bachelor's degree in 2023 is what a high school diploma was in the 80s.
College graduates are calling their degrees worthless, with 51% of Gen Z saying their college degree was a waste of money.
Half of this audience, if you get a job, will get a job that doesn't require a college degree.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about college degrees, and I hope you appreciate the beautiful intro. But if you're new here, my name is Zor, and I talk about stuff on the internet that might concern you and I. So let's talk about the whole situation with having a degree and not getting a job and being unemployed. This is something that impacts a lot of us. It's impacted me because I'm a recent college graduate, and it's been extremely difficult to get a job. And you're asking, what degree did you get? I went in as an engineer. I got a computer science degree. I worked my ass off through the 5 years I actually stayed in college just to get this degree, and it's damn near impossible to get a job. I've applied for over 700 jobs, got over 40 interviews, and it's still almost impossible to get a job. And a lot of people are going through that too, especially in our generation as Gen Z. You might be a little older, a little younger, but this is what it is right now, bro. We can't not talk about it. And I saw this article on Forbes that kind of go over a lot of the discourse that you saw earlier in the intro of this video and kind of make a sense of it. Now, according to the article, TikTok millionaires and AI tools make college look like an overpriced relic. So it's fair to ask the question, are degrees even worth it anymore? The answer, some absolutely are and some absolutely are not. The key here is relevance. Now, this article, which I really encourage you guys to go out there and actually start reading articles, is a whole nother form of media consumption. But what they said right there is really important. The way that you get your degree and how you got a degree can really impact what you end up at in life. Me getting a degree in computer science can really help me get to a higher bracket, make more money than someone who get the degree in communications. So you got to base this off of that. If you're someone that's new, younger, going to college, you don't want to go into college for something like communications, something like psychology, or all these things might be cool and interesting to you, but it's all about how you can leverage that degree to make your life better after college. And that's something a lot of people don't keep in mind when they're going through college. If you invest 4 years or more of your life and tens of thousands of dollars, you better make sure you're willing to walk away with something more than just a piece of paper. As the value of a 4-year degree is increasingly questioned, public perception is shifting to match. Nearly half of Americans believe it's less important for securing a well-paying job than it was 2 decades ago, according to a 2024 Pew Research Center survey. Major companies like Apple, IBM, and Hilton have eliminated degree requirements for many roles, opting instead to evaluate candidates based on their experience and practical skill. Now, this is something that a lot of college degree holders can relate to. Going into the job market, going to interviews, they're looking more so for experience. And it makes us question, like, what is wrong with the experience that we have through college, the discipline that we build, the character that we build, going through a 4-year program and being dedicated enough to it to graduate and be successful at it. Like, what about that these companies don't really like? And then I became rational. Hey, maybe companies actually want to see things done. Maybe companies actually value knowledge on what they want you to work on. Maybe companies want people to work on things that those people have been working on. Maybe it's safer for those companies. Maybe it doesn't cost as much money to go out there and train people that you are employing, because it's not about training your employees anymore. It's about getting employees that can do the work as soon as possible. We have Indeed. We have all these other forms of applying. All of these things make it so much easier for companies to let people go because they get tens of thousands of applications every year and for every position. It's insane. A 2022 study by the Burning Glass Institute revealed that millions of jobs posted have dropped a bachelor's degree requirement, and a 2020 analysis found similar trend for positions like production production supervisors. These shifts signal a growing recognition that a general college education often fails to deliver the specific competencies employers need today. Pew's research survey also found that more than half of college graduates are underemployed, working in roles that neither require a degree nor utilize the knowledge they paid the universities to acquire. Even a degree after graduation, 45% remains in such position. Experts predict that this trend will continue with alternative credentials, certifications, and hands-on training gaining more relevance. By 2031, whilst most jobs will demand some form of post-secondary education, that doesn't necessarily mean a bachelor's degree. And for many careers, it may no longer be the smartest path. Now, that is something we all have to come to terms with. We have to realize that time changes everything, and the educational system has to adapt to the changes in the current space that we're in, bro. We have AI, we have tech taking over. A lot of things have changed. Even your iPhones have changed. PCs, games, the currency, inflation, everything have changed. The one constant we've had in our society has been the education system. Yes, you would say we have the laptop here, we have phones, we have internet, we have better PowerPoints, better way to present information to kids, but you got to realize that the education system is so behind where it should be at. And things like ChatGPT and just AI and kids not actually paying attention in school anymore, it's all coming to challenge the education system and see if it can improve. And if it can't improve, and if it doesn't want to improve, it's gonna be left behind. Nowadays, guys, you look at Gen Alpha. Look at how bad their attention spans are. They're literally locked in the phone watching YouTube Shorts, TikTok, 24/7. It's a way nowadays that parents actually sit there to parent their kids. It's easier. So a lot of Gen Alpha, a lot of young kids are going to have short attention spans. We're going to have more people with ADHD, and the education system got to adapt to accommodate those people. We have to find ways to teach things in more interesting ways that don't just bored people. You can't just say school is supposed to be boring and it's up to the student anymore. Now school have to adapt to a way that actually makes kids interested in the material that they're being taught. And now we have to find ways to actually question or test kids that aren't just copy and pasting information, memorizing information. We actually have to test understanding of material, because we can't rely on the traditional way of testing students, which is the original, hey, multiple choice, fill in the blank, essays, and all these things. Those don't work anymore because we have ChatGPT, and you can't catch every student that's using ChatGPT. We have to do more oral exams. We have to find new ways to work around the current situation. Schools in general have to adapt, and if they don't, you can't blame people for saying that degrees are worthless, because why would I as an employer go and employ people coming out of an institution where they literally cheat to come out of, bro? Why would I, as a business, hire an engineer in 2030 knowing that all his work was done for him by AI? Let's just be honest, bro. We gotta keep it a buck. This is what's currently happening. The education system has to adapt to gain their credibility and their necessity in the current society, because not only do students not want to participate in the current education system, employers are moving away from the current education system, and that is a combination of disaster for any organization that want to keep its place in society. It's just a wake-up call, y'all. It's literally a wake-up call, and I'm sure you guys are hearing what I'm saying and are understanding what I'm saying. In today's competitive landscape, college students must be more strategic about their education, states Dr. Walter L. Tarver III, founder of T3 Group, Jesus, an educational consulting company. When deciding between a liberal arts degree or a specialized degree, one must objectively weigh the return on investment. That is extremely true. You can't have people going to college for for things that are purely interesting to them anymore. That doesn't work in the current world. You can learn that online. You can learn that on YouTube. You can learn that on Udemy. You can learn that from an audiobook. You don't even have to read actual text anymore. You don't want to go to college to do a degree that don't matter. This is all it is. If you want to go to college, please do something that will provide very needed things for society. You got to be so valuable after college that's when you're gonna know it's worth it. That's why I always tell people, man, go into healthcare. That's the best way. If you do tech too, you can also work in healthcare. That's the best because those things are always needed. 5 degrees that no longer hold up. General liberal arts. Guys, you cannot be doing that. That's absolutely horrible. Hell no. Visual or performing arts. Communication. Gender studies, ethics studies, and similar fields. Imagine doing African American studies as your major in college. Guys, that has to be one of the stupidest things I can ever, just imagine a person doing. I understand you are black probably, or if you're white, that's even worse. If you're Asian, that's even worse, sir. But you're black, most likely, you're doing this, how do you think that's going to help you help black people? Most of the things that's happened is been talked about, or you can go and do more deeper research to learn more about it, but that can't be your major. Go to college to help build things and form things that, learn things that can help form solutions to things. Don't do African American studies or gender studies, bro. What will your degree be worth? Those are the things you got to think about. Now, degrees that actually make sense according to this article, right? Computer science. This field is booming, AI development, all these things. I feel like computer science, a lot of people are talking about how, oh my God, software engineers are going to be replaced. No, software engineers won't be replaced, all right? AI is going to replace the way software engineers work. Your computer science degree is going to be a way to vet out people, especially if you got your degree before the actual craziness of AI. That's going to be a good way to vet out people who can build AI solutions. So computer scientists are going to be really essential for this new AI boom. That's why I love my major. Even though it's hard to get a job, right? Right now it's hard to get a job, but I'm going to get myself as hireable as possible. Now, something I want to add before we get more into the other parts of this video, right? If you can't get a job, don't do what the majority is doing because you're going to get the majority result. You got to do what other people aren't doing. I couldn't get a job in computer science. It was hard. It's all this, right? And I talked to someone I consider a mentor, and he told me, actually go out there and do the hard thing. Don't code with AI. Code without AI. Actually get the understanding of what you're doing because that's what's going to separate you from the masses. And that's what I'm doing right now. And I feel very confident in the direction that I'm going. So don't do what the masses are doing. Do what the minority is doing because that's usually how you're going to separate yourself from the rest. And companies want the exception.
Degrees are worthless. Let me try to change your perspective on this. It's not the degree that makes someone want to hire someone. It's the person's discipline. Let's say I take someone from an Ivy League school. Let's say someone from Harvard. Chances are this guy, unless he's super rich, had to have a 4.0 GPA in high school, had to be the top of his class, must have done some crazy extracurricular activity, probably leader of his student union or something, maybe volunteered for 1,000 hours, probably perfect SAT scores. Chances are this guy is an overachiever.
That is something a lot of people get wrong about the way degrees are, right? People just think, oh, degrees are worthless because everybody on the internet is saying degrees are worthless, and people who choose to get irrelevant degrees aren't getting jobs. Oh my God, that is. And we're also in a recession, so people who have somewhat non-relevant degrees are still struggling, right? That can be true, but it can also be true that degrees aren't worthless. Like this guy just said. If you don't have a degree and someone else has a degree, the chances of a company hiring you is a lot less than they're hiring a person with a degree because it shows a lot of other skills there, right? It shows soft skills. It shows discipline. It shows accomplishment. It shows a lot of things about the character of the individual, which is very important when it comes to working with people, when it comes to trusting the people you're hiring.
Now let's say we take this guy, we put him into the workforce. Let's say it was marketing. You don't think this guy would go seek out opportunities? You don't think he'll go out there, start talking to a ton of people, start making the connections, trying to be the best marketer possible, best salesman? And then once he starts achieving in his field, people give him more responsibility, and then he rises up faster in the corporate ladder. Is it really his Harvard degree that got him there? Or is it because he's an overachiever that got him there?
Guys, I'm not gonna sit down here and say like I love computer science so much that's why I was able to do it and complete it. I completed my degree because it was a challenge. It was a thing that I set out to do and I wanted to achieve it and I did. A lot of you might be doing degrees that aren't as relevant as say computer science or engineering or something in nursing or something like that, right? But you still can go and accomplish and get that degree because you're an overachiever. We don't always make the best decision in our lives. Maybe you weren't knowledgeable about these things before you went into your degree. Maybe you did communications, right? But you are in college right now, or you're not, or maybe you're starting college or something like that. I think just achieving that, going and getting that degree shows some value in you and gives you some inherent value that someone without a degree would never get. You know, maybe just the college experience, maybe the ability to just meet new people, form relationships, live away from your parents in an institution that you can represent. You know, like you're representing your school as a university. Companies do see that when it comes to separating you from the rest. And I'm all for finding ways to separate yourself from the masses because that's how you stand out. That's how you become different. Now let's talk about the resulting area of this, like where all of this has led us, because it's led us now to the new unschooling culture that I'm seeing on TikTok, and it's kind of very dangerous. I want to share some light on it and give my thoughts on that.
Hi, my name is Skylar. I'm a grown, radical, lifelong unschooler, and I wanted to start making TikToks about this because I've really benefited from people on TikTok who have made videos about their unique life experiences. For those who don't know, radical unschooling is a life philosophy where young people get to learn about and study whatever they want or not study whatever they want with absolutely no pressure from adults or other parents or people in their lives to pursue particular educational paths or parts of knowledge.
I get the idea of forming your own perspective, of being free of bounds and building knowledge that way. I get that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I do like the fact that we have an educational system. I do like the fact that we have a structural way that people can learn things. You know, I would say unschooling would be good once you go through school. You know, like I think that's very dangerous because, first of all, it takes you away from the regular. It takes you away from the majority in a bad way, right? Now everybody can say I've been through high school. I know the conventional knowledge, right? But now I can challenge it. I can unschool after I have been schooled. If you're unschooled before being schooled, you don't give yourself the opportunity to see the faults in the school, right? Like I want to know what I am going against. And if you put that on kids where kids can't really see what's in school before they make a decision about it, you're still doing the same thing. You're robbing them of that freedom, right? At least give the person the opportunity to experience this thing that has been shown to work for a lot of years, that has a lot of evidence behind it. Give them the opportunity to go through that, and maybe their own perception of it can lead to a better form of the current process. I think that's how we should go, instead of just encouraging unschooling. It's very dangerous. It leads to uneducated people, which aren't bad, but uneducation can lead to in or unintelligence. That's just all I'm saying.
Or parts of knowledge. So that's how I was raised. It's a subcategory of homeschooling legally, but I was never required to write anything, read anything, do anything, learn anything that I wasn't personally interested in.
That's the problem, because in life you're going to have to do things that you aren't interested in, and that is another missing part of school that we don't talk about. School can't always be fun, but the fact that it's not always fun is really, really good, because you get to learn about things that aren't fun. Not every quality knowledge is going to be fun for you to learn, but once you get through that hurdle, it shows your resiliency. It shows that you can do things that you don't necessarily want to do on the spot. It trains your brain. It trains you to be an intellectual, because that's how you form good thoughts. That's how you form thoughts that can actually help people, by sitting there and learning things that reading a book doing things that you don't want to do. That's how you're going to be separated from the masses. That's how you're going to actually make an impact on the world. That's how you're going to become a valuable individual. So that is the combination of unschooling and how the current degree system isn't really working for the people, but also my thoughts on how you can use that to help you, how you can use that to separate yourself from the crowd and become an overall better person, a better employee, a better student, and just overall a better intellectual, man. Oh my God, that was a good yap. Hey, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Without further yap, though, peace out. Bye-bye. Mwah. Love y'all.